So we're supposed to come up with a very clever hook at the beginning of the podcast where like somebody listens, they go, "Ooh, I need to listen to the rest of this." So like we're getting ready to give you the lottery numbers, stand by or
Yeah.
something like that. I like that. Yeah.
I,
You
I,
know though, hey, you know what though? We do give people lottery numbers. You know what I mean? We give loan officers and you give branch managers, mortgage leaders, company owners, you give them information. You channel them, the information you give, to literally, in many cases, literally make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Literally. Not everybody. I'm not
100%.
saying everybody, right?
I get it.
But, because most people that listen to a
Well, we
podcast,
got a lot of them that are.
I know most people that listen to a podcast don't do anything, right? This is my little asterisk. Most people don't do anything, so they get no results. But those that do, we've seen amazing results,
Yeah.
i.e., lottery winning earnings, like literally. So it's kind of cool when you think about that, isn't it?
Well, I've got a lottery thing that every leader, manager, branch manager, sales leader, I should think about is, do you have a sales culture?
So, all right. So I hear that. And by the way, I'm talking. I think everybody knows who you are. I'm talking to Kevin Gillespie. He leads our leadership academy, which is our high level for branch managers, company owners, district managers that are looking to really, really, really step up in a very big way. So I hear the term, and you know what? So who's going to benefit from this episode? Certainly those, and then for the loan officers, this is what you want, in your company, right? In your business, right? You want sales culture. So all right, hey, so you say, hey, sales culture is very important, and I hear that buzzword all the time, man. Sales,
I get it.
culture. What does that mean?
Well, here's what I hear from managers I coach and leaders, right?
Tell me.
I hear all the time. Tell me, you may hear this from them too. I'm sure you do. I can't get my loan officers to make the calls they need, right? Or I can't get them to market enough. They just don't, whatever it is, right? And so
Okay.
here's what I was thinking about. And we coach a sales culture, certain things, but here's what I was thinking about. Here it is, Super Bowl weekend coming up,
Okay.
and the Olympics
Yeah.
starting over in Italy. And by the way, I don't know if you ever do this. Janice and I've been practicing for the luge. You know, I'll be eating potato chips laying on the couch. I've gotten into the lean.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I could do it. But,
Yeah.
you know, but the real question is those teams, as they're getting ready, those
Okay.
people, as they're getting ready for their big moment or to score big or whatever, how often do you think they meet with their coaches? How often do they practice? How often do they drill? Do they rehearse? Do they develop a winning culture? I I would think most of them every day,
I
right?
I would, they're prepping for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. They
Um,
don't, and they don't wait until, well, when I feel like practicing or,
no.
when I'm motivated or out when I get in the mood. They do it and they show up and they do it again and again. That's how they get better. But I think that when I'm talking about sales culture, what we need to ask ourselves as leaders is, do you actually have a process that drives sales activity and sales results, right? Or are you just hoping that they'll want it bad enough? Because you and I know hope's not a strategy, right? But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people, a lot of managers, a lot of leaders, people trying to grow their operation. They still do kind of the good old boy. Well, hopefully they make some calls and man, if you really want to grow, um, I think you got implement at least four or five. There's probably I could give you three things real quick, but you need to do that. Put these processes in place. Otherwise, you're just hoping
So in
that
other
your
words,
loan
what you're
officers
saying,
do right. Does that make
let me say,
sense?
yeah, I think so. Let me make sure I got it. So have it such that in my organization, look, we all know what drives business, right? What really drives business is good old fashioned prospecting, right?
100%.
And not getting ready to prospect. And first I need to do this, then I can prospect and all the well, I need to have this is in place, then I can prospect, or I need to feel comfortable, then I can prospect, and all that, I know, stuff that's gone through my head in the past. Um, and we all know that's what works. And so having the culture of the company that we all show up either collectively or individually or however that is expected for us to do our prospecting. And I'm going to prospect because if I was working at, say, your branch, Kevin, uh, you're that's just the state. That's just what we do here. That's the accepted norm. And to not
100%.
prospect, to not show up, to not make my calls, to not make my presentations, or whatever that prospecting is, would be the abnormal. And so I show up because I'm expected to. That like we're flying in a formation kind of thing. Is that what we're talking about here?
100%. I think that, and I'll get to the prospecting in just a second. I think first with your loan officers or
Yeah.
people you're recruiting, you got to
Yeah.
get them to commit. Hey, as you said, here's how we do it here, right?
Mhm.
You got to get them to really commit because guys, your title makes you a manager, but it's when your leadership where you can create kind of a psychological certainty and safety, right? And direction where they know, okay, I'm going to follow Carl and I'm going to lean in because, man, I believe in him and I'm in the team and it's working and I'm going to do the same thing. So you got to get them to agree to do it. It's kind of the first step. And then you've got to have kind of a second piece after the commitment is you got to have a regular prospecting way to do things, right? You need them to a system because you don't need more willpower, you don't need more reminders.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a regular process where they stay focused, where they meet, where they huddle, where they share wins, where everybody's working it together, it'd be like the Super Bowl teams right now. They said, "Here's the playbook. Go practice your plays on your own." Yeah,
Yeah.
what team
Mhm.
does that? They
Mhm.
don't. You really want to get them together and have regular prospecting meetings. And of course, we have our call stars and in the leadership group. I can tell you what, we either tell our managers, you either get your LOs into call stars, which works. And then we've got people who've developed their own, that they basically they take our information, our training, our scripts and everything, and they create their own call programs.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
can think of two leaders in our group. Rick Riddle did this in the last year, and he just told me the other day, his because of what they focus on in their call system, their business is the highest since um, they just had their best month in December since 2021, and their refi business in the last 3 months has gone from 18% to 44% or 43, something like that.
Wow.
Aaron Saucier built kind of his own call system, and over
Yeah.
the last 12 months, he's quadrupled his volume. I mean, that's a 400% increase. So the results, the results work.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for
All right. So we hear these stories, not these particular ones, but the similar stories
it.
all the time. All of us do, right? Everybody listening to this, we all hear these stories that, gee, when Susan or when Bob started a prospect and doing it on a regular basis, quadrupled their business. Like we see that on the Breakfast Club every morning. Hey, give me some wins, and it's the same basic storyline. Is I didn't get lucky. I didn't find these magical beans that all of a sudden the loans started coming in. Come to find out when I started prospecting, like real prospecting, my business dramatically increased. We see that all the time.
100%.
What is keeping companies or branches or branch managers, let's call it mortgage leaders. What's keeping mortgage leaders? They all know that. Why do they hold back and not have the culture? Hey, gang, this is what we do here. And if you don't like prospecting, if you don't like two timesing, three times in your business, this might not be a good match, right? But doing it on a positive note, what holds them back from doing that?
I, other than not hanging out with us, um, literally, I think that they don't, how do I do it? What do I tell them to say? How do I structure it? Or that sounds
Mhm.
expensive, or how am I going to get all, and it's, the truth is it takes very little time and it's a matter of focus and it's very inexpensive to do and it will change, but they just haven't been trained how because many managers got to where they're at because they're good producers on their own,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They haven't really been given the skill on how to coach and hold people accountable, get them to commit, and
Mhm.
then have a system where the team does its work out together.
Mhm. Dude,
And
I'll give you a number. So, our buddy Jimmy Reed that you and I work together with,
yeah,
and his branch, he's got a big branch. In his branch, I think they did just under half a billion last year, like 400 million and something. I can't remember the exact number,
that's
but
great.
it was north side of 400 million. Get this, man. If you take the amount of loans they close and divide it by how many loan officer there are, the average loan officer over there closes right at 6 loans a month. I think it was like 5.9 or something like that.
Awesome.
That's average. That
That's
some
about
more, some less.
five times more than the national average.
It is, yeah. The national average is 0.8 was the last number that I saw.
Yeah,
And so six, and he, brother, he's got exactly what you're talking about, as do other, people that we work with. Uh, man, the culture here is this is what we do.
yeah,
And I think you said something else I think is real important. Left on my own, I can't say, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go prospecting, go lock myself in the room and go do it. I think you're right. I think it's better when we do it like as a group, even if it's a virtual group, doing it in a virtual group like a Zoom and we all meet on Zoom together. And then, we talk about, hey, here's what we're going to prospect today. Then everybody turns off their mic and turns off their speakers, leave the camera on, and we're all sitting there, hammering the phones together. And it's just what it's like
If-
everybody goes to the gym at the same time and we're doing our push-ups and sit-ups together so we have a healthy body. Same sort of thing.
exactly. And I go there to work out because I enjoy the group and whatever. But again, I'll use the football team analogy or any sports team, whatever sport it is you like. They don't leave it up to the individuals to figure this stuff out. But it's as sales leaders and managers, so many of us do that.
Hmm.
And so, um, and then there's a couple other things. How are we for time? Can we?
We're good. Yeah, 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 man. That's
Okay,
good
let
stuff.
me throw in one other thing I think is they also need to leverage the CRM for the loan officer. So, because typically what we see, because that can create massive leverage and get mindset and stay in front of folks. But what we typically see in our group is kind of the two extremes. You either get the LO who does nothing with the CRM,
Hmm.
or they go and they spend all their time in there and they're really doing it as a way to avoid making calls. They're
Yeah.
kind of
Hmm.
looking for the silver bullet.
Create
What we
avoidance.
have found is if you can get the LO to spend 2 hours a week and maybe 5 minutes a day going in and liking people's comments or whatever, but
Yeah.
2 hours a week
Hmm.
in content that brands both the company and the LO, it really helps keep the yellow top of mind. We got one guy that literally for $100 a month, he's getting 40,000 impressions a month staying in front of his realtors. And it so that even though he's doing the calls, now you can't use the CRM as an excuse not to make the
Right, right,
prospect.
right.
But don't you find that if they can really leverage their CRM without spending a lot of time in there, that it makes a difference?
Did we I'm gonna answer that with a short story.
Okay.
Do have we talked about how Elon Musk runs different companies and how he does it? Have you and I talked about that?
I think so. But you share with
So,
the group here. I
all
think
right.
so, but I may be wrong.
Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. So, Elon, love him or hate him, right? Everybody's got to admire what he's done. He's run a space
100%.
program that in essence, put NASA out of business, right? Just
Yeah.
amazing. Hard to believe that's happened. His car company is worth more than all the others combined. Should that be? Is it real or not? If you look at the stock market, it is, right? It is. The Boring Company, where they dig holes through the earth for
Mhm.
tunnels and things like that.
Yep.
His internet satellite internet company, where they've just revolutionized how you connect up to the web, in in Antarctica, that everybody in the United States now has that. So he runs these big, huge companies, and they're not just completely, totally different. They they've dominated, right? They're at the top of their game. I listened to a podcast where he's talking about it. I said, dude, how do you do that? And he goes, well, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I work on the car company on Mondays. I work on the boring company on Tuesdays. I work on the satellite company on Wednesdays. I work on my robot company on Thursdays. And so he compartmentalizes them. So what you're saying is, yes, do the CRM, but don't do it Monday through Thursday when it's prospecting time. That's a Friday activity. That on Friday
100%.
is a day that we work on systems in our business. That way we can do it as much or all day Friday that we want. And as long as we're spending the other 4 days, so we're spending 20% of our time putting systems together and 80% of the time, prospecting, closing loans and doing that part. And so, yes, I 1,000% agree. Hey, what's your, I think having a CRM is an absolute must, but I think having somebody put it together for you is also an absolute must. You agree with that?
Unless you got the skill set to do it,
Even if you do,
100%.
but even if you do have the skill set, the time it takes to, it's never done.
Yeah.
Diane Ranger has been working on my CRM since 2001 when she joined when I talked her into giving me a shot with working with me. She has not stopped working on that CRM since that time and continues to improve it. And
I'll give
so
you one better than that, though.
tell me,
This is a shameless plug.
oh,
Okay. So
they're
forgive me
allowed.
for that.
They're allowed.
In our leadership group, what we've done with the CRMs is everybody compares what the various drip campaigns and we share
Ooh,
them and if people can
ooh,
copy them, adjust them to them, and
ooh.
it saves a ton of time.
Sure. Yeah. You instead of trying to go through the jungle with a
Hey,
machete clearing a path, go where there's a 4-lane highway.
exactly. So rather than me trying to develop it, I followed Carl's plan. It's working.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
It
Yeah.
works great.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure I swiped it from somebody, at some point. So
Yeah.
all right, so number one, having that flying in the flock or running in the pack mentality of my prospecting time.
And you got to get commitment with it.
Number
Absolutely.
two, number two, if I'm a branch manager or company owner, leverage my CRM for my loan officer. They still have complete access, of course,
Right.
but put it so that we're doing that so that they can, i.e., go back to number one, right? Doing more
Right.
prospecting. Give me one more. What's the third thing of sales culture?
I I think there's probably a couple of them, but one I
All
would
right.
say is create the stage. You and I know that when you do a presentation to a group, it's so much easier to get a one-on-one meeting. Well, the same is true with loan officers. If a
Mhm.
presentation is done, either
Mhm.
the manager comes in and does it or the loan officer does it. A lot of loan officers aren't comfortable, and so some managers do it on their behalf and have the
Mhm.
LO there. But but not just once in a while. Adam Crosley, who closed 20 some loans last month, right? Or whatever his number was, close to that. He does two events every single month. And then that gives him a reason to call people. Dave Holland, who you know, has grown his business tremendously.
Yeah.
Every week he's trying to do a presentation and that his LOs can bring folks. So if if you're a leader, you need to get some presentations and create the stage,
Mhm.
help with the follow-up. You're seen as an expert
Mhm.
and your LOs will have an easier time getting and building the relationship. But Jack Thompson, we know, right, who's
Oh,
in the
great
group,
guy.
great guy, has 8 branches. He literally has a route he follows. he will do a presentation for his 8 branch. He'll go around to each of them, do the presentation. He'll meet, like in a short time period, 800 realtors, right? And it's paid off for him. And so I think you need to help your loan officers. You got your call stars, you got your CRM, but also get out there and be the expert, because it also helps an easier way to, I don't know that I'm saying it well, Carl, but for to
Well,
create more follow up and build a deeper relationship. Does that make
it
sense?
it does, and the other thing it does is, frankly, it creates a model for my loan officers to follow. So, we have a thing, uh, see one, do one, teach one. See one, do one, teach
Mhm.
one. So I see you make the presentation, and then I can, if I choose, I can do the presentation.
Yep.
So I like that. So, hey, just a quick question: do most of them do them virtually, or in person, or a little bit of each?
They do them both. One, the in person always, breaking bread or spending time with somebody always is the best. But
Mm.
if not, or your audience is spread out, virtually works just as well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and of course you can do a lot more virtually. You probably get better attendance virtually. So I
Yeah.
think you mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you get more attendance. You don't go quite as deep, or, it's something about being there, but yeah, I agree with you. It's not a either or, it's both. I like that.
Yeah,
All right. So create a culture where we're expected to prospect,
right.
leverage my CRM for my loan officers. Don't just say, hey, here's a login and password, go figure it out. Number three, work the stage,
Hmm.
right? Work the stage. What's one more?
I tell you what, if somebody just did those three things, the real key is you got to set, and this kind of goes back to the beginning. You got to map out the process
Yeah.
and be consistent with it. Make again back to it's got to become your culture. This isn't a one time or a
Yeah.
couple time thing. It is day in, day out, week in, week out,
Hmm.
month in, month out. And that's the people who do it, man, we're seeing numbers just go through the
Yeah.
roof often.
It reminds me, anytime I think of culture, I don't know why, I always go back, and I know I get, I'm showing my age here, but I always go back to the Oakland Raiders. So the Oakland Raiders back in the John Madden days. So a lot of
John
people don't know
Madden.
that John Madden, who's famous with the video game, name, the football video game, before he was a spokesperson, or called the game on the on TV, he was a coach, and he was a coach for the Oakland Raiders. And brother, what their culture was is, we might not win every game, but even when we lose, you're going to go home limping. That we are one tough customer.
Yeah.
And when you're playing the Oakland Raiders, you better have your extra pads on, because we're strong, we're aggressive, and we're leaving nothing on the field. We're giving it our all, and you better be ready for us. And that's
Well,
what they were just known to for. That was their culture of we're the, for lack of better, we're the badasses of the community, and and I think having that same sort of culture in our business, that, hey, we're 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 here to win, right? We're
yeah.
here to change lives. We're here to ramp up some serious numbers and help a lot of people, and change lives. And I think
Yeah.
just having that culture is just, why is it so rare?
I again, I think because we come up in the business, and if we become a good producer,
Hmm.
we become a manager, and we
We just don't know
haven't
how.
really thought through
Hmm.
strategy, and we got too many
Hmm.
things. So we got to find a way without it taking a lot of our time, but to
Hmm.
create that culture. And so it's efficient and it's standard. And the
Hmm.
truth is, if you put this in place, if you're a producing manager, your production will go up, right?
Hmm.
Because you got to do it.
Because you're
By the
doing
way,
it
did I
too.
ever tell you I've met John Madden a couple times?
No way.
John Madden lived literally about a half a mile from me when I lived in
Wow.
Pleasanton, California.
Yeah.
And his sons who ran the Madden football electronic empire,
Yeah.
right? That's where that business is. And his sons were my son's freshman high school coaches. And John came to a
Wow.
couple of the games, and of course Janice and I would see him out. There was a little Chinese restaurant. He'd come pulling up in his pickup truck, and yeah, he was
Yeah.
a hell of a guy.
Wow. Wow. I love that man. He was his culture.
Yeah.
I just love this culture. And I think part of the reason why people like branch managers and district managers and company owners avoid it is like, well, I don't want to ruffle any feathers and
Yeah.
what if but when you end up doing that, you end up having like it's just weak players.
Well, and
That could be strong with the right leadership.
you're hurting them and
Yeah.
yourself.
Hmm.
The company. I
And
mean, it's there's so many. If
and you're
any,
trapped.
hey, and if anybody wants to find out more, we can share brainstorm with them. We'd love to do it.
Sure. Well, how do they do that, man? Let's do a shameless plug.
Go to www.profitdrivenplan.com, and either you or me or Kristen, somebody will have a really not. I mean, no high pressure, but it'll be a good call. You'll get a couple ideas out of it for
If they're
sure.
lucky, they'll talk to Kristen. You know.
She's a lot nicer than you and I are.
Well, that is that's one driven individual. I can tell you that. So
Man, she wants to see people win. She's
yeah,
awesome.
she's the John Madden of the mortgage world. I'm just
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah, she's good.
She's very good and very serious about what she does. So I just
Yeah.
absolutely adore her. We've been working together now. I don't know, pretty good long time, and just a fantastic person. So what was that website again?
www.profitdrivenplan.com.
Got it. So you ever get his autograph by chance?
I did not. I did. The guy, even though he lived in the town, you'd see him once in a while. He was like at my son's football game. He was mobbed. I felt bad. I mean, the
Oh,
guy.
I
So
can't
like
imagine.
we'd see him and we'd wave when we were in the Chinese restaurant there. He
Right,
was
right.
nice enough way back, but yeah, you and I have met some celebrities when we're together.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like Fish, and they appreciate you respecting them. I think.
Hmm.
You know.
Though, I have to tell you, do you know the comedian Sinbad?
Yeah.
So some of the people we've met, is by design. We're meeting them with a
Yeah.
purpose. Sinbad, I was in Las Vegas. I was in Mandalay Bay. I'm walking past the elevators and I see Sinbad. I love that man. He's just fantastic. I love how he does humor and keeps it clean.
Yeah.
Right? And he's
Yeah. He's always
funny
good
as
about that.
heck, funny as heck. So anyway, I see him standing at an elevator. The door just opens and he's there with a lady, I'm assuming his wife, uh, uh, getting ready. He walks like I'm walking right by the elevator door opens up and he goes to walk in. I went, well, the heck with this. I'm going to get in that elevator with Sinbad, because I'll have a captive audience for a few minutes, or 30 seconds or something like that. So I went in the elevator and it was just me, him and his lady. And I said, Sinbad, how you doing, my man? He said, I'm doing good. And I said, you working or playing? A little bit of both. I said, oh, cool. I said, hey, you mind if I ask you a quick question? He said, sure, man. I said, does it get old and you get tired when people like me come up to you just all the time, every day, all day, and talk to you like we feel like we know you? He said, my man, let me tell you how this works. If it wasn't for you and people like you, I wouldn't be able to stay in this fine room I'm staying at. And
Yeah.
And this lady has gotten accustomed to a lifestyle I could never afford on my own. And so I'm grateful for you and others like you. So thank you.
That's
And I
cool.
think that was a very genuine response from him.
That is a cool answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. And I met Kid Rock there too, same place,
Did
Mandalay
you
Bay.
really?
Yeah, he's sitting in a coffee shop there in the just off the casino floor all by himself. The coffee shop wasn't even open. He's just sitting at a table there, and I said, "Hey, I just again, Kid Rock, say, hey man, how you doing?" He said, "Good." I said, "Hey, mind if I sit down for a few minutes? Or are you looking for a little bit of quiet time?" "Nah, man, have a seat."
Well,
And
on
just
another one of these sessions, we got to tell this. We won't do it today because we don't have time. Tell the story how you and I invited somebody to come over and join our table, and we couldn't see him. It was dark, and it was Lawrence Fishburne, and he hung out with it. That was a fun.
for two
Of
days, we hung
Yeah,
out with Lawrence
yeah, that was
Fishburne.
fun.
It was an amazing 2 days. That
Yeah.
was. That was really special. And dude, out in the middle of Puerto Rico, like not even
Yeah,
in
exactly.
like what's the odds of that? So anyway,
Yeah.
all right, man.
All righty, buddy.
Profitplan.com. I appreciate you, my man.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Carl. Thanks, everybody.